Tutorial on how to make sermon graphics and what I think is the most effective way and efficient way possible. So I'm already in my Outlook email and I have this sermon notes from the pastor. So if I find the best way to do it is to download it. Don't open it in your browser, but download it and edit it in the desktop version of Word. So click this arrow and click download. Again, this is Outlook. If you're using Gmail, it's going to look a little different. So I'm going to download it. Pay attention to where you download it to. I like to use the downloads folder, not the desktop, and rename it if you want, but it won't matter what the name is as long as you can find it right away. And then I click save. Okay. And then this is my downloads folder. I click this and I open the graphic or the Word document, and now I have it in Word. So my pastor color codes all the graphics. So the color fonts are graphics and the black is not a graphic. So I find the best way is if you're a keyboard person, you can hold shift and hit down and hit backspace and then enter and then down and then shift, backspace. But what's important is there needs to be a blank line between each graphic, and also there needs to be no punctuation. So for instance, if I highlight this bit of text here and I backspace, it's indented. I want to backspace again and then enter to make sure there's a blank line. And then also there's all this black text that he's kind of like added notes for himself that isn't part of the scripture, and we need to delete those, etc. So I'm not going to delete all of them. I also like to delete these little superscript numbers. So delete all of that. And then here's another one with a bullet and an indent. So I highlight it and I hit backspace and then I hit enter to add a blank line, so on and so forth. So again, this one has a bullet. So if you just hit backspace a couple times till the text is at the very beginning of the line. So you don't want any bullets and you want a blank line between each graphic. Okay. So you go through all the graphics and do that. And I've already done that. And so you go File, Save As, and then call it sermon title something something sermon graphics. And if I go down here, I've already made that. So I already have this document called sermon title sermon graphics with all the graphics already in it, and it's saved. So I'm going to just make sure it's saved just in case I forgot, and save. Okay. Then you go to ProPresenter, and either in your actual playlist or in a dummy playlist, you can do this. So I'm going to do it in a dummy playlist just to keep things neat and organized on this screencast. So we're going to call this temp. And so you're going to go File, you're going to Import, and you're going to go File. Then we browse to the folder that has our document, and we want to make sure we import this one. And click Import. Now here's the power. Okay, see where it says slides limited by line break? So that's why we have the blank line. So every time there's a blank line, it will add a new. Anytime there's a single line break, it'll add a paragraph break. Does it every time there's two blank lines, I believe. I tend to leave it on line break. The size should be the 1920 by 1080 or whatever your screen size is. And then this is where the power is. So I'm going to click this little down arrow and I'm going to go to themes. So I'm in the middle of a series called Fresh Starts for Prayers. And I'm going to click this. And then these are all the themes inside of the sermon template theme set. So there's all these different themes, but the only one you need to pick right now is either the scripture one, or if it's almost entirely just like bullet points, then you can pick this sermon point one. So I'm going to pick scripture, and I'm going to click, and it's set to the English Song Bank, which is the default, and then the temp playlist we created over here. And you click import. Now watch what happens. There it is. And it has automatically made all the slides separately, so we don't have to make new slides. And then what you can do is, if there's a slide you want to be a different design, like say this one here, in our main sanctuary at our church, we use lower third. So I'm going to right click on this, go to themes, go up to the Fresh Starts for Prayers theme, and I'm going to go down here to the one that says sermon point lower third. And I click on that, and now it applies that theme. You can also drag like that and right-click themes, fresh start for repairs, center point, lower third. And there it is. Now we got to fix the ones that don't quite fit. So the best way to do that is from, we can also change. This one says image of the series. We'll go to themes, go to fresh start, and we're going to do series title. And then my pastor likes to do a separate title for his actual title. So this one's going to be sermon title. And then his title is effective prayers. So we're going to go into the editor to do this part. So editor. So effective prayer. Okay. And go back to show. And then now this is, he likes to do his scripture where he types it out just to make sure it's word for word instead of using the Bible tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this one and click edit slide. And then see this text placeholder that doesn't show here. So this is actually an empty text box, but it has a different font. So what we're going to do is, and this could be optional if you were kind of in a hurry, we're going to right click, cut, and then go up here and then right click, paste and match style. And then it'll inherit the correct style. And then I know for a fact it uses NIV, so I'm going to add that because I'm the copyright guy. And then we don't need the quote marks. All right. Now we can go through the rest of the graphics, kind of add them. So this one we got to fix. There's this extra text box. We can just delete the whole text box. There's another scripture here. Now this scripture goes off the bottom, and there's a powerful tool designed for songs. It works for other things too. So go back to the show view, click this slide, and then go here to this button that says reflow. So reflow lets you see all the text here on this side, but then over on this side, it shows you the preview of what it looks like. Actually, the first thing we need to do is we need to edit the scripture reference to be in the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this, and we're going to cut, and we're going to go up here. It's got to be like that in the good paste and match style. All right, now we can add NIV, and now we can go to reflow directly from here. So reflow, so you don't see the scripture reference on here because it's in a different box, but it knows what that is, so it'll fix it automatically. So you kind of look at this thumbnail and you go, I like to break on full sentences. So you go to the beginning of the sentence, and you can either click insert slide break or hit click, and there it is. It split it, and because it knows that this is the scripture reference, it automatically added the scripture reference to the next slide. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to insert slide break, and it looks like verse 9 is the next one. I want to take that number out. Insert slide break, and it all fit. And then there's another number here. I want to get rid of that. So double check, everything looks good. All right. And then, so that's how you fix the multi-page scripture passages that are weird. So now we can go back to the edit page, edit screen, and scroll down. And there was this one other Matthew graphic that we need to fix. The reference. So cut or Command X, and then right click paste and match style, or Shift Option Command V will do the same thing. And then we add the NIV, and we're done. And then looks like there's one other graphic that I didn't, but this one's probably too long for a lower third. So I'm going to right click on this and go to themes, and I'm going to set it to this big sermon point. I think I like the one with the little hands in the corner. And then there was another one, I believe, that was too long. That was a lower third also that I might need to change. this one. So it's actually a pretty big font. So there's two ways to do it. You can manually change the font size by going to text and picking a different size. What you don't want to do is if you click this expand to fit text, then it'll make the text box bigger than the background, which in this case won't look good. There's a couple options. You can manually change the font, or you can go to this little cog. Sorry. You can go to this scaling. So right now it's set to none, and you can set container up or down, which means it'll make the text box bigger or smaller to fit. Text up means it'll make the text, it'll only scale the text up if it's too small. Text down means it'll only scale the text down if it doesn't fit, and text up or down will do either. So we want text down, and now it'll make the font small enough to fit in the box and not lose anything. And if we want to kind of tweak this text box a little bigger, then we can kind of tweak it a little bigger since this hand is in this corner. And now we can go back to show and check that everything looks good. The big thing to look for is don't look for the little yellow exclamation point, because that tells you the text isn't fitting in the text box. Oh, here's another one that we need to fix. So this one should be a lower third. So themes, center point, lower third. Oh, that one didn't fit either. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to go edit slide. And now you're going to ask me, why don't I set this scale down always to be the default? And that is because I really want to not make the font too small for lower thirds due to the screen size in our sanctuary. So that looks plenty big still. And if I want to cheat a little, I can make the text box a little bit bigger and go back to show. And now we have all the graphics. The other things I like to do for kind of finesse is I right click on this title, copy, and I right click on the last slide and hit paste. And then I'm going to just paste again. It actually doesn't matter what I paste. And then I'm going to right click on this one and go themes, lower third point. And then for this series, what I've been doing is just, you can do edit slide or quick edit since it's such a little bit of text. Watch this. If you don't know what this is the quick editor. So I can just do this, and I'm just going to go put the pastor's name. And I don't want it to autocorrect. Thank you very much. And apparently I need to go into the editor after all because I don't want it on 2 lines. So I'm going to go to edit slide, and I'm going to make the text box a little bit bigger. So his name's all in 1 line. That looks better. So that's how to make sermon graphics the most efficient way I have found.